Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 5 of the channel. I'm trying to get this one out quick, so no big intro today. Here's the current bankroll chart. As you can see, we hit a new peak, $228.36. And I always keep the PokerStars lobby in the background, so if you ever want to double check, you can zoom in and see my balance up at the top right corner. Trust and transparency are a big part of this challenge, and I want you to be able to see every dollar along the way. Alright, enough talking. Let's jump into some hands. Okay, here we go. First interesting hand. I'm in the hijack with ace of clubs, queen of hearts. Low jack limps. I make it 4 big blinds. The button calls and the big blind calls. The flop comes great. Ace of diamonds, queen of clubs, 3 of clubs. It checks to me and I bet 30%, 5.7 big blinds. The button calls and the rest fold. The turn is overkill. It's an ace of spades. Now I have a full house. I bet a little under pot, 19.2 big blinds. But unfortunately, the button folds. But we start out with a win and that's all that matters. Next hand, I'm in the big blind with 10, 9 of diamonds. The button opens to 2.5 big blinds. I 3-bet to 10 big blinds and the button calls. The flop comes ace of clubs, 8 of diamonds, jack of clubs. And I c-bet for 5.8 big blinds and the button calls. This is a good flop for my range. I can represent the ace and I have a big draw. The turn is a 3 of spades. I decide to double barrel. But I don't go big, because I am a little worried he has an ace since he called the flop. I bet out 15.2 big blinds. It gets the job done and the button folds. I looked at the solver. They don't like this bluff. They want me to have a club in my hand. And then if I do bluff this hand, they want me to go bigger. So lesson learned, but it worked. Now I'm on the button with ace of spades, king of clubs, and open to 2.5 big blinds. The big blind defends. The flop is ace of diamonds, 5 of hearts, ace of clubs. We hit trips, but now big blind leads into me 2.6 big blinds. I'm not sure what he's doing, but I call. Turn is a 3 of diamonds. And now big blind leads again for only 3 big blinds, a tiny bet. Normally in position, I just call and hope he bluffs on the river if he doesn't have anything. But this bet was so tiny, I felt like I had to raise and try to get value. So I raised to 12 big blinds, but unfortunately, big blind fold. Pretty simple hands, but now I'm on the button with ace, queen of clubs. Hijack opens to 2.5 big blinds. I, of course, 3-bet, but only to about 8 big blinds. Since I'm in the position on the button, I go a little smaller. And the big blind cold calls and the hijack calls. Flop comes queen of spades, 10 of hearts, 5 of hearts. Big blind checks, and now hijack bets 9.3 big blinds. I'm the pre-flop raiser, but he leads out. So I don't know what to do. I just call. And now the big blind calls too. So I'm assuming one of them's on a draw and one of them has to have some kind of pair. The turn is the 9 of diamonds. Big blind checks again. And now hijack bets huge, 34.2 big blinds. Now I'm a little worried because all I have is top pair. I'm trying to think, what's he doing this for value that I beat? And I'm thinking maybe king, queen, something like that, even though I block it. But I call and the big blind calls. River is a 7 of diamonds, so at least the flush doesn't come in. Big blind checks, and now the hijack checks, so maybe he was on the heart draw, and now he's given up. I feel like I have the best hand now, and maybe I could go for some thin value, but I'm just worried about betting small and getting raised and be put in a miserable spot. So this time I check, and I do win. Neither player had hearts. Big blind somehow has ace jack of spades and was just floating with a gut shot. And then hijack has king 10 of diamonds. Just middle pair and blasting off. Crazy hand, but it felt good to win it. What's crazy is if he jammed all in, I likely fold. Alright, next hand, and I make a huge blunder. I'm in the big blind with ace 4 of hearts. Small blind calls the 1 big blind, so I raise it up to 3 big blinds in position, and the small blind calls. Flop comes king of hearts, 10 of spades, queen of spades. Small blind checks, and I c-bet like always to 2 big blinds, and the small blind calls. Turn is a 7 of hearts. Small blind checks. And this is where I must have been distracted. I was either talking to my wife or watching TV, I don't remember. But normally I would barrel here. Bet at least half pot, even more. But I check back. River is a 5 of hearts. And the small blind checks. So I obviously go for some value, right? Having the nuts. Nope. I check back.
What?
I didn't even know this happened until I was editing for the video. I must have just assumed one of these was a diamond. and didn't realize it, but it's pretty embarrassing, so I had to put it in the video. Let me know if you ever done anything like this. Now things start to take a turn. I'm in the small blind with ace-5 of spades. Low jack opens to 2 big blinds. Hijack calls. I 3-bet to 10 big blinds. Low jack calls, hijack folds. Flop is 3 of diamonds, 5 of clubs, 3 of clubs. I thought in the moment it's a pretty good flop. I have the 5 and I can represent overpair since I 3-bet. So I bet 7.5 big blinds and the low jack calls. Turn is the queen of clubs and I don't like it. So I check. It just didn't feel like a good barrel card. The low jack checks back. The river is a 10 of hearts. I check just praying to get the showdown. But low jack bets out 35.9 big blinds. Full pot size bet. I think for a while on this one. I know the low jack thinks I'm weak. I just checked twice. So he might be bluffing. And I'm not sure what he's representing. That's a big bet. But I just don't think it's worth making this hero call and I lay it down. I really wish I could have seen what he had, but we don't get to see it. We just got to move on. Now I'm on the button with king 9 of diamonds. Low jack opens to 2 big blinds. I call, and small blind 3-bets small to 7 big blinds. The low jack calls, and I call. The flop comes 9 of spades, 2 of hearts, 2 of clubs. Small blind leads out half pot, 10.4 big blinds. The low jack folds. I hit my 9, so I obviously have to call. I'm thinking he could have ace 10 or better and just trying to c-bet and take down the pot. Unfortunately, the turn comes ace of diamonds. So I'm thinking he's going to bet and I'm going to fold. But then he only bets 11 big blinds. So now I'm thinking he doesn't have a hand like ace queen or ace king. That he must have pocket 10s, pocket jacks, pocket queens. And that ace scared him. So I call, planning on any low card to try to take the pot away from him. Unfortunately, the river comes to jack of diamonds. So now he's beating me with one of those hands, but then he checks. So I'm thinking he must have 10s or queens, and I can bluff him and win this pot representing the ace. But my mistake is I don't go big enough. I try what I did earlier and go half pot. 30.6 big blinds. He calls and shows pocket kings. I'm still proud of my read here. I didn't think he would have kings because he 3-bet so small. There was 2 callers and he only went to 7, but I could tell what was going on. I wonder if I jammed if it would have got through, but we lose a pretty big one, punting it off. Okay, we got to regroup here. I'm in the hijack with 5-6 of spades. The low jack limps. I actually limp with him, which you never see me do. Button now raises to just 2.5 big blinds. Big blind calls. The low jack, the original limper, folds, and I call. The flop comes 10 of hearts, 7 of spades, ace of spades. Pretty good for my hand. The big blind checks. I check, and now the button bets out 5.3 big blinds. Big blind calls, and I raise to 16.6 big blinds as a semi-bluff. The button folds, but the big blind calls. Turn is the ace of hearts. The big blind checks, and this is how you can tell I'm tilted from the last hand. Normally, once the board pairs, I don't continue bluffing because I could get there and still lose to a boat or something. But I'm annoyed and want to win this pot, so I bet 28.5 big blinds. And the big blind calls. I'm not sure what he has, because if he had an ace, he would raise me. So I'm thinking he must have a 10, or maybe he's on a straight draw. The river is the 5 of clubs, and big blind checks. Now I actually have showdown value, and I don't need to bluff. He could have something like 8-9, and I win. So I check, and somehow I actually win this pretty big pot. I felt like I played this hand horribly and was rewarded. Now I'm in the cutoff with 10-8 of clubs. Low jack limps, and I bump it up to 4.5 big blinds. The low jack calls. Flop comes 6 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds, queen of clubs. Low jack bets 5 big blinds. I have a double gutter, so I think it's a clear call. Turn is a 3 of diamonds. Now low jack bets 7.7 big blinds. It's not a big bet, and maybe if he was deeper, I would call. He only has 30 big blinds behind. So even if I get there and it's not a diamond, the payoff just isn't there. So I fold. Next hand, I'm in the low jack with 10 of spades, 10 of diamonds, and open to 2.5 big blinds. Hijack calls, button calls, small blind calls, and the big blind call. So great hand, but a lot of callers. But then the flop comes 4 of hearts, 10 of hearts, 5 of clubs. I flop top set. The small blind and big blind check, and I lead out for full pot, 10.8 big blinds. Maybe I could have went smaller, but I wanted to charge the draws. Hijack calls and everyone else folds. Turn is the 8 of clubs. So 6-7 gets there, but I'm not really worried about that. I bet 32.2 big blinds, another pot size bet. And hijack calls again. Turn is the king of diamonds. so hearts don't come in. Maybe I made a mistake or I'm being results oriented. I go all in and hijack folds. It's pretty obvious he was on a heart draw. There's only 110 left out there. He wasn't calling down with a 5 or 8 on the flop return. Maybe I should have checked and see if he tried to bluff his heart draw. But either way, we win a huge pot. Now I wake up with queen of spades, queen of clubs, and the cutoff. Low jack, this annoying limper limps. I raise it up to 5 big blinds. The button calls and the low jack calls. Of course, flop comes ace of hearts, 2 of spades, 8 of clubs. Low jack checks. I check. Now I'm just trying to get the showdown. And button checks. Turn is the ace of clubs. Low jack checks. And now I'm not scared of that ace anymore, since another one came. Someone would have bet on the flop. So I bet out 4.7 big blinds trying to get a little value. The button calls and the low jack folds. River is the 10 of clubs. I decide here I'm not going to get any more value. So I decide to check. He checks back and I win. Okay, last hand of the video. I'm in the hijack with ace of spades, 10 of diamonds. And I open the 2.5 big blinds. The cutoff calls, everyone else folds. Flop comes 10 of hearts, king of clubs, 10 of clubs. We're running good. A flop trips. I actually decided to check here even though I'm the opener. I figured if he has a king, he's going to bet anyway. Which he does. He bets 2 big blinds and I call. Turn is the 4 of diamonds. I check, playing the check call again, but unfortunately the cutoff only bets 3 big blinds. I just can't let him get away with betting so small. So I raise to 11 big blinds and the cutoff calls. River is the 6 of hearts. This is the same player I beat last hand and he folded. So I know he doesn't want to fold to me again. So I decided to bet big. I bet 30.7 big blinds. He snap calls and mucks, so we win another big one to end the day. Okay, let's check out the results of this session. We started at $228.36 and finished at $244.60 for a nice profit of $16.24. That's 162 big blinds. I will admit we ran really well, more than we played well, but it's still a big win and I'll take it. If you have any criticisms of how I played these hands, let me know in the comments. If you're enjoying this bankroll challenge, please subscribe and drop a like on the video. We really appreciate it. Well, that's gonna do it. And as always, this is Mr. Humble Poker. Stay humble, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.